Welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, July 21st, 2023. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. This country's Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Information Technology, Camilo Gonzalez, has assumed the chairmanship of the Monetary Council of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. He succeeds outgoing Chairman St. Lucia's Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Philippe Gépère. The Monetary Council is the highest decision-making authority of the ECCB and comprises the 8 ministers for finance of the ECCB member governments. Chairmanship of the council is rotated alphabetically each year among the 8 ECCB member countries, namely Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, the Commonwealth of Dominica, Grenada, Montserrat, St. Christopher, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Delivering opening remarks at the official handing over ceremony today at the Beachcombers Hotel was ECCB Governor Dr. Timothy Antoine, who used the opportunity to welcome the newest council member, Dennis Cornwall, Minister of Finance for Grenada, who is attending his first meeting of the council. Governor Antoine thanked outgoing chairman of the Monetary Council, St. Lucia Prime Minister Philippe Gépère, for what he described as his strong commitment and stewardship in a difficult year, while noting that the EC dollar remains strong with a foreign reserve backing of 92%.
During his tenure, the Council made several decisions that supported monetary and financial stability and advanced both our legislative and transformation agenda. Article 7.2 of the ECCB agreement states, and I quote, "The Council shall meet not less than twice each year to receive from the Governor the Bank's report on monetary and credit conditions and to provide directives and guidelines on matters of monetary and credit policy to the Bank and for such other purposes as are prescribed under this agreement." End of quote. Today, I confirm that our EC dollar remains strong with a current foreign reserves backing of 92%. Now keep in mind the law requires us to be at 60. We're at 92 and climbing. Notwithstanding the pandemic, a 1 in 100 year event, our currency passed the test with flying colors. A Monetary Council convenes at a time of great uncertainty for the global economy. According to the IMF, real growth in the global economy is now projected to be 2.8% this year and 3.3% next year. These forecasts are accompanied by significant risks to financial stability and a possible recession due to restrictive monetary policy. That's another word for saying rising interest rates, monetary tightening.
The ECCB governor further noted that while the global inflation rate is coming down, it is not fast enough. And as a consequence, the global economy has shifted from a period where interest rates were low for long to a period where interest rates will be high for longer.
Because the central banks have decided that they will have to do whatever it takes to get inflation under control. What does this all mean for our currency union? Our latest projections are for growth of about 6.5% this year and about 5% next year, on the back of a strong rebound in tourism and some improvement in connectivity. I say some because a year ago we lamented the situation. There has been some improvement, though it is less than satisfactory. Can we all agree to that? Yes, we can. So it's a work in progress. A possible US recession in 2024 would impact our prospects for 2025. But at this juncture, it is simply too early to tell. Based on the current track of US inflation in the ECCU should continue to fall. That said, geopolitical events could impact this projection. For example, earlier this week, we learned of the withdrawal of Russia from the agreement to facilitate safe passage of grain from Ukraine through the Black Sea. That could have implications for us with respect to food and even fertilizer. Moreover, climatic events such as floods and droughts could also feature.
On his proposed big push to double the size of the region's economy over the next 10 years, which he first spoke about at the launch of the ECCB's 40th anniversary celebrations in January, Dr. Antoine told the gathering at today's handed-over ceremony that while his challenge for a big push may be provocative, it requires conversations and commitments for the future of the region.
At the heart of this challenge is really what future do we want for ourselves, and what will be our roles in it individually and collectively. In simple numeric terms, this stretch target would require the ECCU to grow by at least 10% in at least 7 of the next 10 years. Implicit also is that our currency union would absorb or avoid major shocks and development setbacks. It will also necessitate a shift in mindset of leaders and citizens energized by a strong consensus around our development path. Concerted and accelerated action in the identified theaters of transformation, wealth creation, credit expansion, food and nutrition security, tourism, energy security, digital transformation, and very importantly, human capital formation. It will also require a modern and energized public sector that is fit for the 21st century, with the capacity to facilitate the private sector and drive faster implementation of major public sector projects. Also, a more entrepreneurial and risk-taking private sector that is less reliant on state initiative. And finally, for now, access to climate capital to build resilience. Now, this list is not exhaustive, but I've just offered you a few more suggestions as we think about the question.
While noting that the ECCB is a pillar of strength and stability of the region, outgoing chairman of the Monetary Council, St. Lucia Prime Minister Philip J. thanked the present governor, past governors, staff and others for their exemplary service to the currency union over the past 4 decades.
The bank has been a model for Caribbean unity, and the fact that our currency has remained stable is testimony to the benefit of monetary and soon economic integration. When I began my tenure as chairman, the International Monetary Fund forecasts for global growth were 3.6% for 2022 and 2023. Since then, the IMF has downgraded global growth. While the worst of COVID-19 seems behind us, there is still trouble in the world. The world is plagued by the other C, including climate change. The reality of destructive climatic events was felt as recently as last month, when Tropical Storm Brett formed early in the 2023 Atlantic hurricane season. Brett caused damage across several sectors in St. Lucia, including agriculture, which saw extensive damage to over 70% of our banana and plantain crops. The global economic recovery is fragile, while countries large and small affected by high inflation, and there is as yet no end in sight for the war in Ukraine, a war we did not start, but for which we are suffering. Robust government policies, programs and projects, as well as the resolve of our people, have helped propel economic recovery in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. Growth in the ECCU accelerated to 8.9% in 2022 from a rate of 5.8% in 2021. This welcome recovery followed an unprecedented economic contraction, averaging 16.5% in 2020. During my tenure as chairman, the Monetary Council advanced the people-focused agenda, which I articulated 1 year ago. So there is still work to be done.
The new chair of the ECCB Monetary Council, Minister Camilo Gonzalez, said he is deeply honored to accept the chairmanship for the first time since he assumed the role of Minister of Finance here in SVG in 2017, and thanks St. Lucia's Prime Minister Philip J. for leading the council over the last year.
I do not take this responsibility lightly. I add my voice in welcoming our newest member, the Honorable Dennis Cornwall, Minister of Finance for Grenada. Welcome, sir, to the Council. Prime Minister Pierre, I wish to thank you for your leadership and commitment over the past year as our currency union pursued economic recovery despite myriad domestic and global challenges. The lasting and invaluable legacy of Prime Minister Pear's first stint as chairman was his insistence that the work of the ECCB not take place in a vacuum or in abstract, but that that work is inextricably connected to the lives and livelihoods of the citizens of our currency union, particularly in a time of unprecedented challenges. As all manner of social ills beset our developmental aspirations, and as events in Kingstown tragically reminded us only 2 nights ago, Prime Minister Pear's clarion call will continue to guide us.
Minister Gonzalez also thanked the ECCB Governor Dr. Timothy Antoine for his astute leadership and the work he and his team have advocated and advised on and advanced in service for the development of the region.
The last few years were not easy, and the fact that the governor of the central bank can stand here today and say that the backing of the currency is at 92% and that we have weathered the worst of the COVID storm is tremendous testimony to not only his leadership but the work of his entire team, and we're very grateful for the work that you've done, sir. As has been evident over the past 4 decades, the role of the ECCB remains pivotal to our region's growth and development agenda. As the bank commemorates its Ruby anniversary this year, we reflect on the legacies of our predecessors and are grateful to them for their yeoman service. We celebrate our stellar accomplishments with gratitude and humility. With strong solidarity, determination, and collective action, we look forward to accelerated implementation of the transformative policies and programs which have helped us to navigate tempestuous times and are now helping to make our region more resilient.
The finance minister said he welcomed the call by the ECCB governor for the big push in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union to double GDP.
I'm someone who's very impatient for change and transformation, and I always get excited when someone in a leadership position like the governor steps forward and says, let's stop talking about incremental progress. Let's talk about what it takes to leap forward. And Bob Marley has a song where he says we've been treading on the wine press much too long, and maybe it's time to rebel. And there's an element of rebelliousness in his call for the big push to double GDP in the region. And I think that if we set our goals high, we will accomplish great things. Although it is encouraging to hear you say that most other economies in the ECCU will join St. Vincent and the Grenadines in returning to pre-pandemic levels by the end of this year or next year, we must acknowledge at the same time that 2019, which is what we're returning to, was not that great a year. And in support of the big push, the Monetary Council will give special attention to the following priorities during my chairmanship. First being financial stability. Without financial stability, higher and sustained growth outcomes for our region are simply not possible. Only 2 months ago, the bank, in partnership with the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and our government, took decisive action to resolve First St. Vincent Bank. And I recognize Derry Williams, who performed brilliantly in that particular action. As always, the interest of depositors and ultimately financial stability remains paramount. The Monetary Council will continue policy initiatives to maintain financial stability. These include the development of a deposit insurance framework and the full operationalization of the Regional Credit Bureau. I confirm that St. Vincent and the Grenadines has already enacted the credit reporting bill and issued credit reporting regulations. This credit bureau is essential to make more credit readily available to businesses at large and large and small businesses, but especially small businesses.
Following the handing over ceremony, the council convened its 105th meeting where it received the governor's report on money and credit conditions in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. Following the meeting, the new chairman presented the communique at a news conference where he, along with other members of the council, field questions from the media. We hear that after 4 decades, the Inland Revenue Department will relocate its operation to a new building come Monday, July 24, 2023. In an interview with SVG-TV News Today, Comptroller of the Inland Revenue Department, Kelvin Pompey, said that he is elated they have reached this milestone to offer service to citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in a more comfortable environment.
We have been at the old location of the department for about 40 years in the present location. Of course, we would have outgrown that over the years in terms of the number of persons and the level of services that we offer. And so for the past 10 years or so, we have been basically designing and building this new location. And I think today what we are seeing is a culmination of years of hard work by quite a few different stakeholders. So we are quite pleased as employees to be able to be moving into this new location and also to be able to afford the taxpayers of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I think, service in much more suitable and better accommodation. Well, we have been moving through the past month, I would say, incrementally. We have been looking at different sections, units, and we have been relocating those sections that who interact minimally with the public. Today, Friday, we will be moving out the entire cash management system as well as our taxpayer services unit. So come Monday morning, all services will be relocated to our new building here. And this building, for those who are not aware, is located opposite the Kingston Methodist Church, and we are sandwiched between the Star Garage and Guardsman Security. So in terms of landmark, it's a building that's quite easy to find. We have been, of course, informing our clients, stakeholders over the past several weeks of the pending move, and I think the message, has gotten out, and I think generally taxpayers are excited to come to the business at our new location.
Pompey said that he anticipates a smooth period of transition from their new office on Grenville Street, adjacent to Star Garage and opposite the Methodist Church Hall building in capital Kingstown.
We are constantly renewing our system. We have been doing a reform of the tax department for the past 7 years or so, and I think this building is part of it in terms of a culmination. What we hope to do new or differently is to ensure that we use this move not just to change physical location, but to change the way we operate as a department in terms of our processes, our procedures, our systems. We are hoping to look to realign, to bring in new procedures and processes that would make taxation less taxing, as we say at the Inland Revenue Department. So we will be constantly looking at areas that need renewing, needs realigning, and to ensure that we effect the necessary change so that this is not just a change into a new building, but a new Inland Revenue Department in terms of our processes. No, on Monday, I think we anticipate that taxpayers would come here and there would be no disruption in service because of the methodology we have used in moving. I think we have ensured that all the necessary front-end operations have been moved, and I think this weekend we moved our back-end technology and support services. And of course, we'll have to be working over the weekend to make sure that everything is up and running. But this is what we do. I think we have been planning for this for quite some time, and I think we are executing the plan in a manner that would, I think, facilitate, at the end of the day, from both the public and the employees, a very good transition into the new building.
The Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment said it is closely monitoring the reports of confirmed cases of Mpox or Monkeypox in Trinidad and Tobago. As a result, the ministry said it has heightened its surveillance and testing capacity across the country with regards to Mpox or Monkeypox. Mpox is a viral zoonose, a virus transmitted to humans from animals with symptoms similar to those seen in the past in smallpox patients. Although it is clinically less severe for some persons, the first symptoms of Mpox is a rash or mucosal lesions which can last 2 to 4 weeks, while others may have skin rash accompanied by fever, headache, muscle aches, back pain, lower energy, and swollen lymph nodes. The public is therefore advised to continue observing a healthy lifestyle which reduces exposure to viral infections, including frequent hand washing, minimizing contact with persons or groups, and seeking care immediately on suspicion of exposure. The Ministry of Health said routine surveillance for other infectious diseases continues to be conducted and is coupled with frequent awareness sessions for healthcare staff and the public. The ministry said it will continue to monitor the situation closely and update the public accordingly. To date, St. Vincent and the Grenadines has recorded no confirmed case or cases of Mpox or Monkeypox. The first in a series of consultations by the Ministry of Tourism, Civil Aviation, Sustainable Development and Culture commenced yesterday at the Methodist Church Hall. Addressing the launching ceremony, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Dr. Risa Noel McBarnett, said the consultations will seek to provide a forum for stakeholders to discuss matters relating to tourism development and to further sensitize communities about the transformation of the island's tourism and hospitality industry.
The foregoing in mind, the main objectives of the consultations are: 1, to sensitize the communities throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines about the transformations taking place in the tourism and hospitality industry. 2, to highlight the roles, benefits, and importance of communities in the overall transformation of the industry, to strengthen partnership with the communities, to provide support to community tourism groups, and to ascertain the needs of the communities as it relates to tourism development. While the title National Community Tourism Consultations pinpoint the focus on tourism, there are cross-cutting policies, projects, and key program activities that run across the entire ministry. So for instance, aviation and security and tourism, the connection between environmental sustainability and tourism and culture, of course, etc. But beyond,
Dr. McBarnett noted that the last national engagement on tourism was held in 2021 in a hybrid format, but the sessions were not without challenges, and they are hoping the sessions this time, which runs up to November this year, will be even more successful.
Participation due to COVID-19 protocols. However, this time we are coming to you. We're going to be engaging in activities such as house-to-house visits, caravans, consultation sessions, and so on and so forth. The schedule of consultations will be published publicly, and we ask for your support. Ladies and gentlemen, your opinions and inputs are valuable to our strategic planning for the development of the tourism and hospitality industry. Remember, tourism is everyone's business.
In his keynote address, Minister of Tourism, Civil Aviation, Sustainable Development and Culture, Carlos James said one of the most important aspects of the tourism industry is being able to effectively integrate the economy, the culture and sustainable benefits cohesively with the people and the destination.
With people and our destination, while improving the quality of life for stakeholders and experience seekers. And I say experience seekers because we are not just developing our tourism product as just another commodity, but we want to share the wonderful experience of St. Vincent and the Grenadines with the rest of the world. And that is essentially what we're doing. So we must view tourism policy and the cross-sectoral linkages that it represents, its impact on the economy, the transportation system, zoning for commercial activities, and infrastructure development. All of these things are captured in the cohesiveness of what we're building out as our tourism, a sustainable tourism product.
And several wooden structures and beautifications on the Brighton Salt Pond Beach were destroyed and dumped on a nearby piece of land yesterday. The action was reportedly carried out by workers of the National Parks, Rivers and Beaches Authority. In an interview today with SVG-TV News, the person responsible for decorating the beach area, Elroy Otter, who is also the owner of Huffle's Bar, said that he was disappointed in the way in which the situation was dealt with. Members of the National Parks, Rivers and Beaches Authority was seen in a live video feed on Facebook yesterday destroying the structures on the beach. Otter said, recognizing the importance of tourism to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, he and his brother decided to beautify the beach with the permission of the authorities over 30 years ago.
It was a really funny story yesterday. It happened so funny and so fast, and so you never can understand how it happened. The fellas come say they're going to do some little change up or something. But how they come and they start to tail on everything was really surprising. With time we made the effort we put into this place to make it we did today. So we've been before. About 30 years we working on this project down here and bring it so far. And for see you put some little thing that the tourists could come down and enjoy the beauty and the real energy I still been so. We see a little bit of thing we put in place and the same departments come destroy it. It was really hurtful and breaking to see what happened yesterday. We start down in 30 years, everything we do, they know everything we do, that's what the minister say. Because he does always talk in hand all the time, what we're going to take place or what's not. So everybody know what happening all the time. Because it didn't start just today. It started over 30 years ago. Because all those country we planted country years ago. So as the camera come now, we fix our building. We say we're going to do a better landscaping and put everything in place to make things a little more enhanced. Cook up a tourism project then. Make I know tourism my main thing in St. Vincent. You mean? So it's a strange story, tell the truth. Okay, 30 years ago when I was young, the whole place was bush. Big bush. Mandarin trees and like when other people come down, man used to come down and break people, think people break and thief, steal things. So after we got a group of boys, I said, let's change the whole game. And so we decided to clean up the whole beach. And then we go to the ministry, tourism, and then we work together and then we put down washroom and a bar out there and put everything together, organize the whole thing, and we work from there to there until we reach it today. But it was a long journey to reach and come in this condition here right now.
Otter said that his brother was particularly upset by what transpired yesterday, as he is the one who cleans the beach daily, planted the trees and ensured the environment was always kept at its best. Otter noted that the area representative Camilo Gonzalez and Minister of Tourism Carlos James have since apologized for the action taken and promised to compensate them and to build back the structures better.
All those flowers just to keep back here. He had me away from coming up here. So he worked day and night, clean them down to same house. Every day he cleans same house every day. Every day he move all them same house day. So for them come and move this thing, it look was really hard never for my brother, because he's the most I work. I mean, I went there to do all them things, and I didn't know how you feel last night, how you sleep last night. What's it happen? But they said they will come back and replace them, and we could even work together and make it better than we've been before. So if we can get about 90%, if we work together in hand, we could bring it 100%. I mean, and we could develop a website and them like how they develop. Yeah, anytime a cruise ship come in, a lot of tourists come in. Anytime I see tourists from taxi from Beckwith come, I don't hear them come. So for the whole season, we get a lot of tourists come. So when the tourists come back, especially local people. So it's in between. So you local people and the tourists all just blend together and be together as one. I mean, so the place attracts a lot of people, mostly children. Because we know there's a lot of children and swing down in today. Because we build all those swings just so children could come and enjoy themselves too. We will get hung up on all things. A little bit of everything we get down here for children thing.
During a live video feed on the Huffles Ranch Facebook page last evening, the area representative Camila Gonzalez and Minister of Tourism Carlos James distanced themselves from the action taken.
I want to say unequivocally, not only was it not done with my authority, to the extent that I have authority there, it was not done with the authority of the Ministry of Tourism, which has responsibility for parks and beaches. This was a complete surprise to me. It was an unauthorized act, it was arbitrary, it was capricious, it was wrong. Furthermore, they took all of the property down and dumped it on private property next door. I don't know if when Parks and Beaches began creating litter in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the private property belonging to Huffles, he'll have to be compensated for it. And the structures that he put up were put up with the full knowledge of the Ministry of Tourism. Look, I have the Minister of Tourism here has come to join me now. What's going on?
All the time.
And the Minister James has responsibility for Parks and Beaches. We've come down here to tell Huffles that we apologize for what happened, that it was done without authority, and that he will be compensated for the damage that has been caused to his private property. I don't know who authorized it. I don't know why whatever was authorized was done in such a heavy-handed manner. But everything I'm a regular visitor to this beach. Everything that Huffles has put down here, he's put down with my knowledge. He's put down with the minister's knowledge. He's put down with the PS's knowledge. And I don't know who decided that they were going to come and become a law unto themselves.
When SVG-TV News contacted the National Parks, Beaches and Rivers Authority, we were told no one was available to comment on the matter.